Hey, this is Kendall with Knackle Studios. I've got Abby and Joey from Hutch Connect. We're on episode 6.
Yep.
Segment
4.
3. 4?
4.
God almighty, it goes by fast.
I know it.
Because we've done hair salon, we've done spray tan. What else have we done?
The DJs.
The DJs, that's right. The 620.
Feels like another day, yeah.
Oh, my. Well, it's,
Yeah.
there's been stuff going on.
Right.
And who we got with us is Troy, Sugarleaf Dispensary. Hey, welcome to our studio.
Thanks for having me.
All right, tell me what you do and where you're at.
I own the Sugarleaf Dispensary. We're at 703 East 30th Avenue, next to Playa Azul and Fastenal on the south side of the road.
Okay, so you got options over there if you need some bits and pieces for parts or some
you
Mexican takeout. There you go.
Right, and over the summers we have probably the hottest shaved ice trailer in front of our shop, the Flingin' Penguin.
The Flingin' Penguin.
Yep.
I have seen that. Love the name.
It's the best one.
Is it the best
This year
one?
he's doing a mobile trailer, and so he test ran it Monday this week in front of the shop, and he'll be out there this coming up Monday as well.
Is that a good draw for you?
Yes, I mean, I'm a little indifferent on it. I mean, sure. I enjoy, having more eyes on it, but the problem is my store's 21 and older.
Yeah.
And it brings a lot of younger people to the property.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is a dispensary. Let's just talk about what is a dispensary.
So this is a hemp cannabis dispensary. Most people would be like, oh, it's not a dispensary if you can't sell flower. Well, unfortunately, the laws in Kansas say we cannot sell hemp cannabis flower in any plant form whatsoever. Okay. But the law does say we can sell any product that contains no more than 0.3% Delta 9 THC by dry weight basis.
Okay.
And so what that means is we have gummies as low as 5 milligrams, all the way up to 1,000 milligram gummies, just depending on what the person's looking for and the need of them. We have sleep gummies,
there we go.
Yeah. But there's well over 100 different cannabinoids out there. And so what has happened since hemp cannabis has become an option to study since 2018 with the passing of the Farm Hemp Bill, we have found there's multiple cannabinoids out there. Prior to that, all cannabis, whether it was hemp or illicit marijuana, was federally illegal, and there's no studies or funding or anything out there that you could legally study the product. Cannabis is illegal. I mean, it comes back from the reefer madness days. And technically, marijuana is not a description for cannabis. Marijuana is a description for wild Mexican tobacco. Two completely different substances, but back in the day when you wanted to push.
Oh yeah, I sat and talked to him in the shop, and extremely knowledgeable, not just on the laws, but just in general. It's definitely something that you can tell you've put some time into.
Yeah, I mean, it's, one of those things that if I'm going to make a career out of it or a business out of it, I'm one that believes you need to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can only bullshit your way around so many times before you catch yourself in a lie.
Absolutely.
So
well, I'll pump that as you talked about. I didn't realize that they haven't allowed study of it until 2018.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of some private studies back in the day, but nothing major.
Yeah. Because they were studying the hell out of opiates.
Right.
They got those on the market pretty quick.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, and one thing about cannabis is it's something that grows naturally. If it was legal to do so, anybody could grow it.
Sure.
And anybody could get the benefits from it, and that's why in most cases it's not legal. You know.
It's hard to tax something that you can just grow in your backyard.
Correct.
Well, and it's unprocessed. Also, user can use it unprocessed. It doesn't have to go through any change.
Right.
Correct.
For it to be effective.
Yeah, it's just got to go through a decarboxylation stage, which is a heating part. So if you dry it, you heat it, it turns into what you need to get the relief you're looking for.
So what you have at your store at the dispensary, these are legal.
Yep, they are federally legal and Kansas compliant.
Okay.
One thing is hemp cannabis is federally legal through all the states. Now, every state has to have a hemp cannabis program in the least restrictive manner possible, but every state does have the right to limit what hemp products are available to the market.
And Kansas right now is one of the most restrictive in the area, from my understanding.
Yes and no. I mean, they're pretty strict on the fact that they don't want the hemp flower, cannabis flower on the market.
Are we and as far as our immediate area?
Oh, in our immediate area. So, yeah, we can talk about that. Our district attorney, Mr. Tom Stanton, you know, his entire career is built off of drug policy.
Okay.
He's done nothing else but prosecute criminals for drug offenses. With that said, he is, you know, an older gentleman that is stuck in the reefer madness mindset.
Sure.
And that's referring to a movie for anybody that doesn't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Google it. And this
It's
was funded by
crazy.
the government to be out there.
It's satire now, right?
It's 100% satire now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it was satire then, just
Right.
nobody understood
Right.
it.
But
you know?
they were, I mean, it's no different than the old or, you know, late 80s, early 90s safety videos when you go to an employment where like they show some guy falling off a ladder and like landing into a bunch of glass and dying or something
Sure,
like that, you
sure.
know?
Yes, with
but they
bright
try to
red
exacerbate things and try to say you're going to go crazy, all that. And I mean, to be all honesty, there was a lot of racist things going on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
There's that component.
whether it was
obviously.
jazz or Mexican. I mean, it was kind of BS how it all unfolded. And really,
It's like a
That was
perfect
catch-all
storm.
movie.
right?
It got everybody.
What's that?
It was a catch-all movie. It got
Yeah.
a lot of us.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that older generation, though, you're starting to see that change.
Yeah.
You are starting to see that change, and you know you're starting to see the older generation that was what I call kind of curious back in the day, where they have some elements that the doctors not trying to med them up all the time with pharmaceuticals, and they even say, hey, there's other wellness options out there you should look into.
And that's where we could step in and see some
Correct.
options there
Right.
at your dispensary.
Correct. And so THC is THC, whether it comes from illicit marijuana or hemp cannabis. It's all about the testing. Hemp cannabis is, when it's tested 30 days prior to harvest, where illicit marijuana is tested after it's dried and cured. And that could be 90, 180 or longer days, just depending on the time frame of how they do the process there. So as long as we are tested and we meet the 0.3 definition of Delta-9 by dry weight basis, that is considered federally legal cannabis.
Okay,
Okay.
This is fascinating.
And
Yeah,
so
it's
by-
interesting.
So by saying dry weight basis, that means the bigger the product and heavier the product is, the more of the THC that can go into it.
Okay. The
So
density.
where a lot of people can go to Colorado or Missouri now because it's a rec state, they can buy like a 10, 20 milligram gummy. Well, you can get that from us as well with the same THC. Our gummy just is going to be a little bit bigger, maybe a little denser, to have that weight.
Kind of like you, been working out. Oh, gummies coming in there and bringing it to you, fella.
Right.
Slap you right in the face.
And it's a mathematical equation that gets us to that point. I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen issues here. I mean, even the Kansas Bureau of Investigation has gone around and done some raids across the state, and even had the Alcohol Beverage Control send letters out to all the retail liquor stores across the state claiming that the THC beverages are unlawful. Because when he sees it says 0.3%, he thinks the can should say 0.3% or less THC is in the can. Well, once again, that's dry weight basis. We have 12-ounce cans that have 500 milligrams in it, and that's still 0.000126%.
Because of the weight.
Because of the
whatever it
weight.
is.
You take the dry ingredients, the cane sugar, and the weight of that versus the amount of THC, you can put a lot into it.
Sure.
So,
And you guys have everything, right? Like you guys have drinks, gummies.
we have drinks, gummies, tinctures, creams, dog treats.
I was going to say even stuff for the dogs, right?
We have,
Probably cats too.
yep, there is cat treats.
I did not know that's where we're at in this world.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is because I got an orange cat. He
Well,
needs some help.
And my buddy's dog, who actually was my dog, he got some CBD for her, and they said that absolutely worked. She had arthritis and stuff, and a lot of that absolutely helped out with.
Right. And the reason we know that is because we've been able to study the cannabinoids. CBD is a non-psychoactive cannabinoid, so there's no euphoric effects behind it, but it is anxiety relieving,
Sure.
Promotes stress relief, relaxation, and pain relief. And so that by itself is a great product. But we have found over time that every product needs a little bit of everything to be the best it can be. So back in 2014, when the first CBD was hitting the market, that was all broad spectrum CBD. That means there was no trace amounts of THC in it. So it was 100% pure CBD with no THC. And CBD is a great product, but unfortunately, it doesn't work as well as it should without the THC component attached to it.
Yeah.
And we're not saying it's got to have a lot. It's just, it needs to be present. And so in 2018, that's where full spectrum became an option. And full spectrum means there is trace amounts of THC in it or more, at least up to 0.3% by dry weight volume. There's a local company here, High Point Family Farms. They have a shop there at 4th and Main right here up the road here.
Sure.
Okay.
And they grow locally here. They have their own line of products that they hand make the hard way. It's a phenomenal full spectrum CBD product. That is the only CBD product we carry in a dispensary because it truly works. There, you know, whether it's 300 milligrams all the way up to 3,000 milligrams on a tincture, it's dosed properly, you know, all the way up to, I think the 300 milligrams is 33 per little dropper, you know, and it's all about low and slow. And so there's something for everybody. And when it's made with passion and hand care, like Bob and Sarah have done it, it turns out to be an amazing product. That's why they're successful in having their own storefront, and I'm successful in having their products in my store in the same town.
See, I think that's what's important too, is having somebody that is professional and has the knowledge about these kind of things and that can teach and show people, like the reefer madness stuff is crazy. You know, a lot of people have their mindset, just maybe because they've never heard any alternatives to any of this kind of stuff.
Correct. I mean, we still see claims, oh, this isn't real, this is fake, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, I mean, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But you have not obviously opened up your phone and looked on the internet and seen the truth about it. I mean, if we could sell THC flower in the state of Kansas, it's THCA flower. And all flower is THCA flower. It takes a heating element to make it turn into Delta 9 THC. And so that's why it's illegal in Kansas, because the state of Kansas does not have a lab that has no way to test the difference between illicit marijuana and regular federally legal hemp cannabis.
Oh.
So they're like, no, we want to do.
So they don't even want to mess with
We don't want it, because right now they currently have to send every product out of state to a third party to have it tested. You can get it as cheap as $75 a test, but it could be $250 a test. And if you go into a shop and take their products and they have over 1,000 SKUs, well, you got to test all 1,000 of those SKUs at $250 a piece. Wow. And that's at the law enforcement's cost, because until you are found guilty, that restitution doesn't get put on you. That's at the burden of the law enforcement. And I mean, just in KBI's raid that they did back in 1st and 2nd of October, they hit, I think it was 18 stores. I did the math. I can't remember it specifically on the top of my head, but I want to say it was like, we'll just say it was like 2,500 bags of gummies. They said it was 2,700 vape pens. And then they talked about like 4,000 potential pounds of hemp cannabis they took off the market. Well, if you had to test every single one of those, we did the calculations, even at the lowest testing of like $75 a test, that was $12.3 million.
Holy moly.
Do you think the state of Kansas has that money sitting to go test? No, they
to
don't.
make a point.
So, right, they just went around to make a point. And I mean, they even took simple products like CBD dog treats, from these clients. I call it the rape and pillage. They literally went in there and stole these people's products, stole their money, and put them out of business.
Yeah.
When I can remember back, I had a friend of mine that had we call it a head shop, pipe store.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not what you do at all.
No, there's no accessories in my store whatsoever.
Yeah. And he was just selling on South Broadway in Wichita. They came in and they locked him down. And you could argue the legalities to your blue in the face, but the government's right. Whenever they say they're right, they're right.
It doesn't
have
matter.
a pushback.
Right.
And
it's an
struggle.
opinion. And that's the unfortunate thing.
That is the key to it.
Where long story short, my dispensary has only been open just over a year in Hutchinson. Prior to that, I opened up Sugarleaf Distributing, which is a distribution company that distributed these products across the state to multiple stores.
Okay.
My background came from liquor industry. I worked with the state's largest liquor supplier for over 12 years, distributing all over the state. So I had relations that I knew. And in 2020... we separated, and this was just coming to head. And I already had conversations with people. I already knew like mine. It's like, hey, The laws have changed. Liquor stores can now sell non-alcoholic items. This is a non-alcoholic item. It's legal to sell. You've all talked about wanting to try it. I was like, I got an opportunity.
Sure.
And that's how I started it. And 6 months later, I had my first, employee. Then grew from there. Had to get into a bigger place, and that then kept growing and growing. And then, like you had briefly mentioned earlier in our talk about around locally here, our DA sent a letter out to everybody saying, hey, you better make sure what you're selling is legal product, because I believe it's all illegal. Well, you can believe what you want.
Sure.
That's your opinion, but the law clearly states this. And so I went around to all the stores locally that I sell to and said, listen, put your stuff back out. Here's a letter from my lawyer that says everything we're doing is Kansas compliant. I am not jeopardizing your business, and that's not what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Their ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Fascinating. One, it's fascinating how you got started.
Right.
Smart enough to know you had a level of distribution that you could attach to on the immediate. But then you got to go in and help them be compliant and make sure they're compliant, but then prove they're compliant. Well, that's fascinating.
A lot of our customers are liquor store owners. I mean, we were big into the THC drink category. And so one thing is these are state issued licenses, even though they're all into, mom and pop shops, the state issues a license. The state can come revoke that license as well. So I'm not trying to jeopardize what they can only do 20% of their business of. So that means 80% of their livelihood is the liquor that they're selling. That's why they own a liquor store. So I'm not going to go jeopardize that 80%.
Well, and you know this, and you guys are learning this. That 20% is huge.
It is.
That's a huge percentage that is either the make or break for a lot of business.
Sure.
Even for us, we're looking at 5-10% is what we're trying to hold on the back end.
Right.
And that's great. Now, can I ask? I have never walked into a dispensary. And I've been to Seattle and spent months out there. You think you just make it natural. What's my experience going to be like because here's what I struggle with. I sleep about 2 to 3 hours a day. I would like that to be more, but we
can help with that.
So I come in, I say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Are you then leading me into suggestions and recommendations?
100%. As you come in, one thing I'll point it clear: you must be 21 to enter our store. There's no questions asked. 21. Have your ID ready. I'd like to assume that based off our visuals here, everybody here is of plus 21 of age, and I would be more than willing to make that sale. Okay. Unfortunately, law enforcement thinks you should be IDing everybody, and that's the biggest complaint we see is we'll get some 70-year-old politician to walk in the store and be like, well, I didn't get ID'd. These guys ain't IDing everybody. It's like, are you kidding me?
Come on.
Well, your walker got jammed
yourself.
up in the door on the way in.
Right. So yes, you must be 21 to enter our store. No questions asked. If you have somebody with you that we suspect is not of age, they're going to be asked to leave. If they can't provide ID, and then we're probably not going to sell to you either because we can't prove that you're not buying it for them.
Yeah,
that's just us trying to do the proper age gating we can, because technically the law doesn't say anything. We are self-regulating ourselves.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's no restriction on age on what I can sell these products to. If technically I could sell this to a 10-year-old child if I wanted to, but I wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
This is good for people who are 21 and older, making adult choices. And I've been fighting for that. So in this time frame, I am also vice president of the Kansas Cannabis Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
We're the leading advocacy group in the state. So I've been doing this for a few years now. And, we know the rules, we know the laws, and we're trying to put the proper image behind this and the way this can be done legally and lawfully without the bad stigma that's out there. There's a lot of stereotypes. I know a lot of my customers, have been to Wichita. They visited some of the stores down there. Some of them love them. Some of them hate them. That's one thing about my store. It's bright. It's inviting. It's friendly. I want anybody that's of age to be able to walk in my store and feel welcome and feel like they're in the right spot.
What are the hours at your store?
Our store hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
We are closed Sundays.
You got to take a day off.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yep.
I'm going to do it one of these days.
We have gummies, and you say you need help with sleep. We've got a few options for that. Whether it's whether you want something with a decent amount of THC in it or a very low dose of THC, because it's not all about the euphoria effect of it, but it's about getting the proper gummy with CBN in it. CBN is a sleepy cannabinoid.
Yeah.
And then you get the CBD along with it to help promote relaxation. And then THC does that as well.
So you have a level of expertise. I'll be candid. I did not expect this.
Yeah.
No, this is obviously your vocation. It's very important to you.
Yes.
And I think somebody walking in like me that knows nothing, there's
Correct.
got to be that trust. The guy's got to know what he's talking about.
Well, and one thing too, I mean, whether you like it or not, we're going to advise you low and slow. So
Yeah.
if I say, hey, this is your first time trying this product, let's cut this in half. I only want you to take this. And you're going to wait at least 4 hours before you think about taking the other half. If you did that 4 hour time frame, you're like, oh, it's okay, I don't feel it, you can go ahead and accept it. Or if you don't feel like it, let's start over the next day and then take the full piece. The last thing we want you to do is have an experience you may not think is pleasant, and you may not want to revisit the category. I'd rather you not have the effects the first go around and be like, okay, that was too little. Let's step it up a little bit and find that money spot. Find where it's perfect for you.
Because the goal with any business is repeat business.
Sure.
100%.
Referral business. And those are your two components that if you're not doing it right, you're not going to be successful. You've been there a year now.
We've been there a year now, and I mean, we must be doing something right. We were voted Hutchinson's Community Choice Best of the Best, the CBD shop in town, and we were not even
Congratulations
open
on
8
that.
months, so that was a big award.
That is.
And then just yesterday, I received notice from Ranked or whatever, powered by Google Reviews, that we were the #1 ranked business for Hutchinson area on the vitamin supplement shop side of things. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
there
that's
you go.
news to me. That's great.
awesome.
So obviously we're doing
Congratulations.
something right. I give that credit to my employees I have there. Without them, the shop wouldn't be what it is today. I mean, yes, I started it, I run it, but the two people I have working there right now, they're the rock stars.
Who am I asking for when I show up?
When you're there, you want to see Kayla or Tommy. Those two are the ones who are the rock stars there. I mean, if I'm there, I will be more than happy to help you, but I can tell you what, they have learned from me very well, and they've taken everything I've said to heart. And
Do they have the
preach.
passion?
They do have the passion.
That's the key.
And they have the education.
Are you seeing the attitude change about it?
Oh, most definitely. You still got the people who are going to be conservative about it and not ever come around.
Yep.
But the amount of people that come into my shop, I mean, I'm not going to, give away people, but I mean, there's a lot of professionals that come into my shop on a daily basis and use these products.
Well, it seems like the attitudes are changing too with the younger generation. I heard some kind of stat about spring break and about alcohol consumption.
Way down.
Just way down.
Way
Yes.
Like 80% or something like that, I think was one of the numbers that I heard.
Correct.
Crazy.
The industry overall is down. I can't remember the exact numbers, but when you add beer, wine, and spirits combined, I want to say it's over 20% down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in sales.
across
I mean,
the
so far down that the big conglomerate Jim Beam, they had 2 distilleries in the country up and running. They shut one down.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Do you think that it has anything to do
It
with
100% has everything to do with the mainstream of cannabis.
Yeah.
The younger generation doesn't want to drink. They're looking for a better wellness option.
Well, and I've heard, this is interesting too. I've heard they don't want to be seen doing crazy stuff being drunk because now everything is being recorded. So if you go and you get blackout drunk and do something stupid, there's a very good chance that a lot of people are going to see that.
And they've probably made the correlation that those people that do that dumb stuff are drinking lots of alcohol and making stupid decisions.
Well, I can say for a fact,
Not me. Not me.
just so you know, that in the 90s, they did not have, video phones. So I got away with murder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to.
I mean, we did too. I mean,
Sure.
be honest. I mean, we got lucky because I was high school when the first cell phone came out. That
Same.
but it was nowhere near having a camera.
No, we can play
No,
Snake
no.
on
You were
it.
lucky it fit in your pocket.
Well, my first one was in a bag.
Yeah.
I can tell you my
Right.
That's
And we
great.
were fortunate enough it was small enough, to be a brick in your pocket.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm
that
going
was
to touch
it.
on this real quick, though. The one time I went to a doctor and said, hey, I'm having struggling sleeping, and it's always been this way. I was prescribed something, I can't remember what it was. I mean, it just made me paranoid that night. I took it one time, and I haven't tried again because this is your pill option. Take it. It didn't work. Did the exact opposite effect.
Right.
And there's nothing natural about it.
Exactly. There's nothing natural about it. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and claim that every product that we sell was all natural. I mean, people use corn syrup and food dyes and colors to make things look fun. I mean, we see that in everyday food that we at the grocery store. But we do have, very clean products that are all natural, vegan friendly, gluten free, artificial color, artificial dyes, everything, free of all that.
Well,
we do have
old conservative guy. I'm sold. I'm ready to go buy and see. Kimberly, we going to make a trip by there?
Tomorrow
What's
morning,
that,
right?
tomorrow?
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah,
open.
we're right on that.
Yeah, we'll be open at 10 a.m. I mean,
Well,
we have the
hustle
largest
up.
selection of THC drinks in at least a 100-mile radius. It's pretty impressive.
That's awesome. Well, Troy, we got a question for you.
Yep.
Let's hit it.
So yeah, I'll kind of go over it again. I know you've probably heard we ask a question every time. The previous guest always asks a question for the upcoming guest. So yours is, what's the last thing that you did for yourself for self-care?
Probably took the time off 1st of February, and the wife and I went to Punta Cana for a week.
Oh, I've seen some vacation
Nice.
pictures. Yeah.
So
Where is Punta Cana?
Punta Cana is in
Punta
the
Cana.
Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Very cool.
That's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, whether you call it self-care or not, I did.
I would, yeah.
I
I would.
won that trip a couple years ago at the Rise Up Reno County event.
Oh,
I mean, so
okay.
There it is.
that's another thing about my business. I support local
Yes.
organizations tremendously, whether it's United Way, Tech, Rise Up Reno County.
Yeah, we saw it.
Those are just to name a few. Toys for Tots. I and Tracy Flager at Egbert Liquor combined are the largest donators to the Reno County Toy Run combined, multi-years in a row.
Nice.
Well, every year,
Congratulations on that.
she sets up a campaign during the toy run that if you take your dollar down to Egbert Liquor, we will match it 100%. And so it was over $13,000 this last year.
Nice.
It's an investment in the community, though.
It's an investment into the community, 100%. And same with the Rise Up Reno County. That's a youth drug and alcohol prevention network.
Yep.
Okay. I've sat here and said, this is 21 and older, no different than alcohol. I want youth to not be doing the things they shouldn't be until they're adults and they understand. I mean, this is not for somebody that is under 21. I have twin boys that are in 8th grade about to be high schoolers. So
they need the
it's something I got to
capacity.
deal with.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
I just had one turn 18 last month, and it's glorious. It feels the
the last one, right?
The last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
that-
so I went to Punta Cana, that was what we did. Otherwise, in my industry, I self-medicate daily. I treat myself well daily,
Well, there you go. All right, so what's a good question for you to ask the next entrepreneur?
My question to the next person is probably something simple, but it's something that I technically don't, right now, I don't get to see myself at. Where do you see yourself in the next year?
Okay.
Because I don't have a year left in business.
So how do you feel about that? Do you think that there's anything, what are the odds of something coming up? Because it seems to me like it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you're not saying that we need to, fully legalize recreationally in Kansas, but what's been the issue? It's been legal for this long, right? So what's the issue? So we're not burning it down.
All right. We all know the federal government was closed earlier this year and it reopened mid-November. Well, in that reopening bill part, Mitch McConnell, a retiring senator from Kentucky,
I think he retired a while ago.
Yeah, he did, but he's still unfortunately physically
Hey,
there.
and I'm on that team, and I'm
You know,
looking at that cat going, what the hell happened there?
But every outgoing senator gets a legacy bill of some sort. Well,
Yeah.
his legacy bill was to change the definition of hemp because he was part of moving the original 2018 Farm Bill forward, which put the definition out there right now. As we discussed, Jim Beam and all them have shut a distillery down. We're seeing alcohol sales down. Well, Kentucky senator backed by, the big
Guess who?
bourbon industry.
Yeah.
What are we gonna
Shut
do with
this
these oak
shit
barrels?
down, please. So that's where we're at. Big pharma, big alcohol, and I hate to say it, big MSO marijuana is behind it because marijuana, they're not us. We can federally bank, we can cross state lines, we can do tax returns, everything. They can't. We can do everything they can't.
Yeah.
Because we are federally legal
Right.
That's key. That's a great way
and
to
we are
end
the
it.
same product.
Well, thanks for joining us for our podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That was fast.
No
I've
problem.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.